You're watching NBC4, working for you. Live from the area's leading news station, this is News 4 at 5.
A guilty plea today in a case that shocked this community. The shooting death of an 8-year-old girl as she sat inside a house watching television.
Good evening. Welcome to News 4 at 5. I'm Wendy Rieger.
And I'm Susan Kidd. We'll have more on that in just a moment. But first, we have some severe weather in parts of the region.
Veronica Johnson's up in the Storm Center with more. How's it? Are they moving through now, Veronica?
They are moving through, and fairly rapidly, too. The only warning that's left up for the area right now, not saying that it's going to be the last, but the only one that's up is Prince George's County until 5:15, just east of the district. These storms heading toward Upper Marlboro and Davidsonville. What we've seen so far with these storms today is that they have produced some high wind gusts, upwards of 60 miles per hour. They have produced some hail. We had reports of hail in the Fairfax area of Annandale, as well as in Falls Church. And we've got some more storms, too, that are building just down to the south and west. So really, I think that by 7 o'clock, most of this will be over. But let me show you earlier, just a few minutes ago, some of the heavy rain that pounded the area. The rainfall rates, well, let's just say that our instruments had a hard time keeping up, raining at a rainfall rate of well over 4 inches per hour in some instances. Let me go ahead and show you around the area. You can see the big drops hitting the lens of the camera, and look at the big totals that piled up, close to 1.25 inches there. That rate coming down at nearly 7 inches per hour. Temperatures cooling, but they'll climb a little bit more by the time the sun sets. We'll talk about all the storms that pull through the area, as well as Bonnie and Charlie, and how much rain we can expect from them coming up in full weather. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Veronica. More now on today's guilty plea in the Chelsea Cromartie killing. The 8-year-old girl died when a bullet came crashing through the front window of her aunt's home and struck her in the head. Chris Gordon's at D.C. Superior Court with reaction. Chris?
Brothers Rashid and Ricardo Hall had faced the possibility of life in prison if convicted at trial, and that's what the family of the 8-year-old thought they deserved. But today, as a result of a plea bargain with prosecutors and reduced charges to second-degree murder, Rashid Hall, who was the trigger man, faces the possibility of 50 years, while his brother Ricardo faces 40 years or less. The mother of Chelsea Cromartie came out of court so upset she was unwilling to speak. Her family feels it is unfair that the young men responsible for the death of the 8-year-old will have their lives spared after they served time in prison.
They deserve life just like they took hers.
8-year-old Chelsea Cromartie was shot in the head by a stray bullet that went through a window and killed her as she sat watching TV on a couch in her aunt's house on May 3rd. She was the unintended victim of a feud that began hours earlier at this carryout when a group of teens insulted Rashid Hall and his girlfriend, and then, according to Hall's attorney, attacked them as Hall drove away.
And some young punks tried to kill Rashid Hall just a few minutes before. Now, they didn't use the best judgment, and no one suggests that they should have done this, but that doesn't take away from their lifetime of achievement and that they are good people, and I just hope that the community and the court can realize that.
Rashid Hall called his brother Ricardo and told him to bring a hammer, meaning a gun. Then the brothers went looking for the teenagers. They thought they spotted two, and shots were fired, but the only person hit was Chelsea Cromartie.
Why did they plead guilty at this time, knowing that the victim's family really wants life terms in prison?
Well, they pled guilty because they, first of all, felt a sense of responsibility to save the family more pain of going through a trial. They're very remorseful, and the way you do that in the criminal justice system is to accept responsibility without putting the family through additional heartache.
As a result of this plea bargain agreement, the brothers Rashid and Ricardo Hall will be sentenced here in November. Because they are young men in their 20s, there will come a time that they will be released and allowed to live their lives, which the family of Chelsea Cromartie says is unfair because they will never get another moment with a little girl. We're live at D.C. Superior Court. Back to you in the studio.
Chris Gordon. Thank you, Chris.
There is new information about the suspect in the shooting of a 15-year-old girl in the district. He may be implicated in another recent murder. 20-year-old Joshua Ross is charged in the murder last month of 15-year-old Maisha Lowe. She was shot and killed as she sat in a car on F Street Northeast. Police say she was not the intended target. She was the 16th juvenile killed in the district this year. At a detention hearing today, it was revealed that ballistics evidence ties the gun used in the Lowe murder to another murder that was committed 10 days earlier. Ross is now being held without bond. No word yet on when that last suspect that was arrested in the serial bank robberies will be extradited back to our area. Omar Holmes was arrested yesterday in Laredo, Texas. Police believe he was part of a heavily armed band of robbers who held up 6 banks in the D.C. area. Holmes is the 9th person to be charged in connection with these robberies. The other 8 suspects are already in custody. The serial bank robbers are believed to have stolen more than $300,000 during their robbery spree.
A crackdown on local motorcycle gang members. Fairfax County Police, along with several other law enforcement agencies, made arrests today, part of a 2-year undercover investigation. This morning, 11 search and arrest warrants were executed in Virginia and Maryland. Investigators arrested 7 suspects. Those suspects charged with drug and firearms violations, promoting gang activity, and various probation violations. Police say the investigation is ongoing and more arrests are expected. Julie Carey will have more on the story coming up on News 4 at 5.
2 men are under arrest after leading police on a chase in a stolen tour bus. The chase began in the district near South Capitol and Forester Street Southwest and ended minutes later in the Forest Heights section of Prince George's County. Mil Arcega is joining us by phone with more on this. Mil?
Hi, Wendy. Yeah, it's bus jacking is what you could call it. We're told the whole thing started just outside the Washington Hilton Hotel on South Capitol Street. This was about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Apparently, the driver of the charter bus stepped out of the bus just very briefly, but it was enough time for someone to go in and steal the bus. Now, we're told that law enforcement officers from the district, Prince George's County, and Forest Heights were in about a dozen cars when they took pursuit of this bus. They ended up in Forest Heights. That's where the bus ended up, wedged between 2 houses and an old tree. Now, if we have pictures that we sent earlier, the location is just off Woodland Drive in Forest Heights, Maryland, which is, as you can probably see, a very quiet community with only one way in and one way out through Livingston Drive. This is what the residents tell us. The road was actually blocked when the chase was going on, so apparently the driver was circling around the community looking for a way out before crashing the bus and then trying to take off on foot. Prince George's County Police say that they have taken 2 suspects into custody, but we still don't have any word yet on those charges, Wendy. But again, there were no passengers on that bus, and again, luckily, there were no injuries. Live in Forest Heights, Maryland, I'm Mil Arcega. Back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mil.
A tool to help people safely walk across busy streets in the district is being tested. The district's Department of Transportation testing a system called Smart Steps. It's set up at the crosswalk at Connecticut Avenue and Morrison Street near Chevy Chase Circle. Orange flags hang on posts on either side of the street. When it's a safe time to cross, pedestrians carry the flag with them so they're more visible. Then they replace the flag on the other side.
The beauty of this approach is the simplicity of it, because I think people are aware that you have to yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. We're going to change that law. The law will be changed later this year to say you have to stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. But if you don't see the pedestrian, then what good is it to have that law?
The Smart Step system will be tested for about 2 months.
At this hour, the D.C. School Board is set to formally announce the city's latest school superintendent. News 4 first reported Tuesday. The choice is former Rochester, New York Superintendent Clifford Janney. Tom Sherwood's here with more on this.
Wendy, this search, I know the superintendent search has been going on for almost a year. Now there's hope that school reform will finally get underway.
As News 4 first reported Tuesday, the choice is Clifford Janney, who is being picked today after 2 previous candidates rejected the job.
His resume reads to me that he is going to be able to accomplish something we're looking for, and that is improve student achievement.
Janney was superintendent of Rochester, New York schools for 7 years until 2002. Since then, he's worked for a private business educational instruction firm that operates in 20 urban areas. The mayor, who has fought recent increases in the school budget, says he's open to spending more if Janney controls waste in the system.
Leading hard, if a superintendent can come and can say, look, we've wrung out all the efficiencies we can, but here are some identified ways where an additional investment can actually produce an outcome, then I'm open to that.
At Rochester, Janney is credited with raising math and reading skills on state tests and narrowing the achievement gap between black, white, and Hispanic students. Janney is being appointed after an agonizing search that began last November with the resignations of first Paul Vance and then Alfreda Massey. Earlier this year, former New York educator Rudy Crew backed out to work for Miami, Florida. And then California educator Carl Cohn dropped out, even after the mayor made several concessions on running the schools.
Spectacular belly flop in new concrete that I did with him.
The mayor is hoping Janney won't be another belly flop. The D.C. system spends $1 billion a year and has 65,000 students, twice the size of Rochester.
Wow, and it's been in a bit of turmoil for years. Are things going to, I mean, we had the control board, there's problems with the school board. Things going to start settling down, you think?
There are lots, well, that's the hope is that there will be some management controls. There are bureaucracy issues, too many schools. Some schools will have to be closed. The question is, will the city council, the school board, and the mayor all support the superintendent to get all those hard choices done? And that will be what we'll see in the coming year or two.
Tom, the system's had difficulty even counting the number of students in it.
Paul Vance, who was here, once told me in the middle of his term here, he just looked at me one day and he says, you know, Tom, I can't figure out how many students there are or how many people work for me. It is considered the last major bureaucracy in the district government. There's all kinds of reforms in the D.C. government over the last 5 to 10 years, and the schools are considered the biggest and most difficult bureaucracy in the city.
And that's a lot of money being spent there, though.
Yes, and the mayor wants it fixed, and so do the council members of the school board, because if the schools are fixed, they believe more people will move back into the city. The mayor wants 100,000 new residents in the district, and if you have a better school system, that will help keep and bring more people in.
Absolutely.
They couldn't want it fixed any more than the teachers and the parents.
Every person I know in town wants it fixed.
All right, thank you, Tom. When News 4 at 5 continues, we'll tell you about an emotional goodbye at funeral services for that armored car courier killed in a holdup.
And a local man is going to the mat to bring home a gold medal from Athens. We'll tell you about him.
There are 3 new additions here at the National Zoo, Sumatran tiger cubs. Now, they go on display to the general public tomorrow, but we got a sneak preview. We'll show you what they look like coming up.
And good afternoon. I'm Ken Forsyth here at the News 4 Traffic Network. Let's take a look right now, show you what's happening. We have an accident southbound 110 around 66, causing a slow trip off of 66, making the trip right now toward the Pentagon, southbound 110 at the Pentagon for the accident out of the road. A quick look in Springfield, 95 southbound. No major problems leaving the Beltway, heading down toward Newington and Woodbridge. Stay right here. News 4 at 5. We'll be right back.
Muscle, training, and desire have driven him to Athens. Now, 27-year-old Roddy Ferguson of Rockville will take it to the mat to bring home a medal. Pat Lawson-Muse has his story.
His college coach calls him the closest thing the world will ever have to Superman. He's 5'7", 225 pounds. He has just 5% body fat, can bench 30 times his weight, and run a 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds. Friends call him obsessed.
The Olympics, just like anything else, is a process. And if you don't believe, then you don't belong.
Roddy Ferguson is a former Howard University triathlete who dabbled in judo as a boy. But 6 years ago, he quit dabbling.
Roddy, let me see you move.
Getting serious about competition, he quickly advanced, making it to the 2000 Sydney Games as an alternate. But that wasn't good enough.
You have to believe in the training. You have to believe in the work ethic. You have to believe that at the end of the rainbow, if you will, there's going to be a pot of gold.
It was a disappointment not making the team in 2000, knowing how good he was and how he had beat the #1 player at that time.
So Ferguson, who holds degrees in engineering and education, gave up a $70,000 a year job and a nice home.
You got to pay to play, as we say.
And he paid more. In the past year, he's undergone major ligament replacement surgery, ripped his thigh muscle from the bone, pulled his groin muscle, and dislocated 3 fingers. Still, Ferguson is focused.
The mind is stronger than the body. A whole lot stronger.
There it is.
And he'll use every muscle in his body to bring home the gold. Pat Lawson-Muse, News 4, Washington.
Phew. Ferguson is also working on his PhD, running an online training business, and says after Athens, he wants to play in the NFL. Meanwhile, with 2 days left till the opening ceremonies, Olympic security is being tightened even more, especially at the Athletes' Village. That village is a place that's supposed to make the world's top competitors feel right at home, but it could also be a target of terrorists or thieves. Organizers hired nearly 70,000 security guards to patrol the area. The village is under constant surveillance. Only people with special credentials are allowed inside. The officials there estimate that Greece will spend at least $1 billion on security at the Games.
And you can keep up with all the latest Olympic news online. Go to NBC4.com and just click on our Olympics link. You'll find schedules, TV listings, athletic profiles or athlete profiles, and articles on local Olympians. Some rare tiger cubs that were born at the National Zoo back in May go on public display starting tomorrow. But some lucky people got a sneak preview today, and our Megan McGrath was one of them.
Okay, all right. So they haven't quite mastered the stairs, but they're trying, and their clumsy moves just add to their charm.
Cute and adorable.
What have they been doing since you've been watching?
Playing and following their mother everywhere. They've been playing. They kept calling their mother.
Their names are Indonesian. There's Mara, which means fierce, Jalan, which means journey, and Besar, or mighty. The three cubs were born May 2nd, but they've been kept out of the public eye so they can bond with their mother and get used to their surroundings. Already they're showing a lot of personality. Zoo officials say their grandmother is very laid back. Their mother, Soyono, has a lot of attitude.
Oh, she's there. She's what a tiger should be, actually. She doesn't put up with anything. She has her own ideas about how the world ought to work. I can see within these cubs that there's going to be both ones with attitude and ones that are laid back. You can see that already in these three young males.
Where's the third?
Sumatran tigers are an endangered species found only on the Indonesian island of Sumatra. There are fewer than 500 such tigers in the wild.
These tigers are basically our insurance policy in case we should lose Sumatran tigers in the wild. And right now that looks like a pretty good, if things don't change, that's what's going to happen.
The folks here today are members of the Friends of the National Zoo, and they got a sneak preview. But the cubs go on display to the general public starting Thursday morning. From the National Zoo, Megan McGrath, News 4.
And you can see the cubs starting tomorrow between 7:30 and 9:30 in the morning. And those hours will be extended as the cubs get a little older and stronger. They were too cute.
I would have picked them up and kissed their little faces.
They were too cute.
Still to come in our broadcast. A rabid fox is shot and killed in Northern Virginia. Now the health officials there are trying to find out if it's the same one that attacked 3 children the other day.
I'm Mariella Salinas in Orlandria, where prosecutors joined police on the streets to help fight crime. Now this very successful program has come to an end. I'll tell you about it coming up.
And a severe thunderstorm warning is out for Anne Arundel County until 6:15, and we watch the tropics for some upcoming heavy rain. It's all coming this way. Of the latest.
You're watching News 4 at 5.
Well, a lot of people in Florida are bracing for 2 big storms. Governor Jeb Bush declared a state of emergency today as Bonnie and Charlie moved closer to land. Both storms will become hurricanes before they make land. Bonnie is now in the Gulf of Mexico and aimed at Florida's panhandle. Charlie is expected to hit the Florida Keys. Later in the week, we could feel the effects of those storms from some heavy rains.
Right now, we're saying goodbye to the storm that moved through here just about an hour ago. Veronica?
These storms that we had this afternoon, just from a weather front that's moving through our area, not yet from the rains of Bonnie and Charlie. We are still under a severe thunderstorm warning for Anne Arundel County here for the next couple of minutes until 6:15. These storms heading toward Arnold and Annapolis. Then the next couple of minutes by 5:31 and 5:33, heading off to the east very quickly. And what we've seen today, not just the heavy rain, not just the lightning, but some hail. Let me take you to the district in the downtown area. This around the courthouse. Hail and gully washer rains. Folks, we could be looking at some serious flooding problems, I think, as we come out of the weekend. But all that took is some thunderstorms building across the area, those ice crystals and the storms getting bounced about, tossed about, and then eventually they fall, and they did today, certainly. Here's a look at some of the rainfall totals throughout the area in Anne Arundel County, Severn, Maryland. Rainfall total nearly an inch and a half. Temperature now it's 70 degrees, but look at that rainfall rate. This is what we're talking about, the intense rain in a short period of time, nearly at a rate here of 8 inches per hour. Not quite as strong in Annandale, Virginia, but this is where the winds really gusted high up to 65 miles per hour. That's why we've had the warnings. One of the classifications there for a severe thunderstorm warning is that winds eventually or at times could get up to 65 miles per hour. The cooling temperatures, we dropped into the 70s, and now we're building back in some sections like Stroudsburg at 81 to 87 degrees in Martinsburg. But because we still have a few of those storms, they're still popping down to the south and west around Alexandria and on further down to the southwest and southern Prince William and Stafford, and moving back over the area. That watch still up until 8 p.m. There it is. It covers the entire viewing area. The other thing, of course, the storms of Bonnie and Charlie, still a tropical storm. Bonnie could become upgraded before it makes landfall early tomorrow morning. It made that move to the northeast, now traveling at 12 miles per hour. So Bonnie's moisture will continue heading on up, and Charlie, will see it likely as a Category 2 make landfall right around the central Gulf Coast of Florida sometime early Sunday morning, probably near Tampa. Both of these storms over the next 3 days will be spreading moisture up the mid-Atlantic, spots around from Columbia, South Carolina, right up over D.C. The first storm, Bonnie, by Friday morning, the second storm by late Saturday. So we'll have the heaviest rains here over our area, I think, Thursday night into Friday, and then again Saturday late. Here's a look at the futurecast. Those winds strong out of the south and southeast and picking up. So anytime we get these heavy downpours, we could have some very high winds coming with those storms. Here it is Thursday late, heavy rain from Philadelphia through the district down into Richmond and on over into places south around Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. That rain continues to pull up to the north and east with some wind. Friday morning, we could get a bit of a break. Then again, Saturday late, some more heavy stuff coming in with Charlie. Here's the way the rainfall totals look over the next couple of days through Saturday. Over 4 inches from the district on east, places like Anne Arundel and Calvert, and even those spots south throughout the northern neck that don't need any more rain. Likely to be some flooding problems in a serious situation there. 2 to 4 inches expected from western Maryland and down through the Shenandoah. 7-day forecast. Let's put it up for you. Temperatures tonight, again, down to about 70 degrees. A lot more rain coming up tomorrow. We'll hit 82. Best part of the day tomorrow will be the early part of the day until that rain moves in. Heaviest, or I should say heavy rain from Thursday night into Friday morning. Friday still wet, Saturday still wet, but Sunday things could be drying out. Another storm on Monday, but certainly not anything what we're going to get the next couple of days. Back to you.
Wow, we are certainly paying for that nice weekend we had last weekend.
Our umbrellas out. Thanks, Veronica. Coming up, we'll tell you about a controversial program to screen airline passengers getting a major makeover. We'll tell you about that.
Plus, it's a community policing effort that's seen significant results in lowering crime, but it's also in danger of being scrapped.
I'm Jane Wattrell. It's been a long road back for a Montgomery County police officer who was shot and paralyzed on the job. I'll have his story coming up.
You're watching NBC 4, working for you. Live from the area's leading news station, this is News 4 at 5.
It was almost a year ago that a Montgomery County police officer was shot and paralyzed while making a routine traffic stop. Now for Officer Kyle Olinger, life is anything but routine. Welcome back to News 4 at 5. I'm Susan Kidd.
And I'm Wendy Rieger. The bullet fired at Kyle Olinger hit him in the neck, left him paralyzed from the waist down. Since then, Officer Olinger's assignment has dramatically changed as he focuses on life in a wheelchair. Jane Wattrell joins us with an update now on Officer Olinger. Jane?
Well, Officer Olinger will be the first to tell you that life in a wheelchair has been rough, to put it mildly. But the first year is almost behind him, and he has very specific goals for the year ahead.
It was August 13, 2003, when Kyle Olinger's life changed forever. The Montgomery County police officer was shot in the neck during a routine traffic stop and paralyzed.
1 year later, he's back on the force, but it's taken months of both progress and setbacks.
Before I got paralyzed, I'd see somebody in a wheelchair and you think, oh, they just can't walk. There's a ton more things that go along with spinal cord injury. That your whole internal system is changed forever. And I can't do anything quickly anymore.
But don't underestimate Ollinger's mental toughness, honed from 2 decades of practicing and teaching the Japanese martial art of Aikido. That training, he says, saved his life.
Helped keep me alive because I stayed focused and I could stay aware of what I needed to do to survive. That all falls back on my training.
In February, Ollinger received a Medal of Valor for his bravery last year, an inspiration to the force. Now he says his goal is to overcome daily challenges, like getting in and out of his car, a routine that at first took 20 minutes and is now down to 10.
So I just deal with whatever I've got to deal with, and it's not been easy. It is hard, but I keep going. And every day a new challenge arises, and every day I learn how to overcome that challenge, and I get better at whatever I'm doing.
Kyle Ollinger has 2 goals right now. Short term, he wants to cycle in next year's Marine Corps Marathon. Long term, he says he's determined to walk. Susan?
Jane Wattrell. Thank you, Jane. Funeral services were held today for the courier who was killed in Hyattsville while he delivered money for an armored car company. Jason Schwindler was gunned down last Friday by robbers who got away with an undisclosed amount of money. The 28-year-old leaves behind a wife and young son. Schwindler worked for the Dunbar Armored Car Company, the president of Dunbar among the speakers at today's funeral in Millersville, Maryland. We'll have more on the service today and the farewell for Schwindler coming up later on News 4 at 6.
Police in Fairfax County say they were able to arrest a serial burglar because of help from people in the community. 29-year-old Esteban Pascual is being held without bond. Police say he's believed to be responsible for at least 6 burglaries in the Colmore community near Bailey's Crossroads. Detectives say they were able to create a sketch and identify the suspect because alert citizens saw the burglar peeping into the windows. He was arrested late last night in Prince William County.
For 3 years, an Alexandria prosecutor joined police on the streets to help make them safer. It was part of an experimental project that turned out to be a huge success. But it's come to an end, and Mary Alice Salinas has more.
Susan, that is because the federal dollars that pay for it have run out.
Tom Cullen is Arlandria's so-called community prosecutor. He's an assistant Commonwealth's attorney who residents credit for helping to cut crime and improve their quality of life.
They look better, That's why for my business, excellent, yeah.
Perfect.
Better and better.
But after 3 years, the bilingual prosecutor is no longer working out of a satellite office in the heart of this Latino community. It was shut down last month after federal funding ran out. The office opened after the Commonwealth's attorney noticed that Spanish-speaking residents were the least likely to appear in court as suspects, witnesses, or even victims. Cullen's goal, to reach out to them and to fight and prevent crime.
What was more important was to communicate with us what leads to crime so we could try to do crime prevention so that no one would have to go to court.
Cullen worked during off hours and on weekends so that residents didn't have to miss work to go to the courthouse. He also worked the streets with police.
It gave them a go-to person to be available when they had issues that they needed to resolve quickly on the street in order to make charging decisions or to sort out particular situations.
Word spread among residents who started coming forward. Cullen coordinated city agencies, businesses, housing managers, residents, and other groups to do things like put in crosswalks, improve lighting, cut back trees and shrubs.
If you fix the broken windows and the small things, then you don't have big crime because people can take pride in their neighborhood again.
Everybody was noticing a difference. Crime went down.
Cullen will now work part-time, but he says the need here isn't as great now.
They're working together in a way that they hadn't done before. And the people know how to contact them and know that if they contact them, things can happen.
The Commonwealth's attorney wants to open other similar offices in other parts of the city where there is need. You can read more about this story in the Alexandria section of tomorrow's Washington Post. Back to you.
Mary Alice Salinas, thank you.
Well, the norovirus may still be out there. There's concern that it may have sickened another person at the University of Maryland and spread to another building on the campus. Over the weekend, more than 100 high school students who were attending a leadership conference got sick. They'd stayed at the La Plata Hall on the campus. Well, now campus officials say a student attending a music camp got sick last night at the Clarice Smith Performing Arts Center. That person also had stayed at La Plata Hall. The university has disinfected that hall and is sanitizing every building on campus now visited by those participants in the leadership conference and the music camp.
Stay with us. There's more to come on News 4 at 5. A team of researchers goes to work on using stem cells for the treatment of diabetes.
And despite the criticism from several months ago, Maryland's comptroller is speaking out again on issues of immigration and multiculturalism.
Also, a rabid fox has been shot and killed, and now officials are trying to figure out whether it's the same fox that attacked 3 children.
You're watching News 4 at 5.
Welcome back. Veronica Johnson here in Storm Center 4. We've had hail, we've had high winds, we've had heavy rain and even some lightning, but most of it moving out of the area now. The only warning that's left is the one that's in Anne Arundel County now until 6:15. Heaviest cell just south of Annapolis and moving northeastward out over the open water. Meanwhile, there's another area that we're watching just south and west of the district, Springfield and Lorton and Mount Vernon. The heavy rain now moving northeast with also some lightning. A little later tonight, things will settle down and we'll drop into the 70s. Susan?
Thanks, Veronica. Maryland's outspoken controller, William Donald Schaefer, is sounding off again, this time about illegal immigrants. At a meeting in Annapolis today, Schaefer learned the state spends about $40 million a year on health care for illegal immigrants. He responded by saying, our own people, that is, legitimate Americans, can't get health care. Schaefer says he supports legal immigration, but complained about people who aren't citizens and won't ask for a green card. Schaefer also predicted that America will have 2 languages, English and Spanish, in the next 3 to 5 years. He called that a tragedy.
Great Britain is taking another step in stem cell research. Britain issued its first license for human cloning. It's a 1-year research license for a team of scientists. The research team hopes to eventually create insulin-producing cells to be transplanted into people with diabetes. British regulators say they weighed medical, ethical, and legal issues and decided this is a responsible use of the technology. Stem cell research has become an issue in this presidential campaign in the U.S. Some scientists say stem cells taken from embryos are the most versatile and best for research. But opponents say it's immoral because fertilized embryos must be destroyed to harvest those cells.
A new device to help people with epilepsy is being tested. The device is designed to stop a seizure before it starts. Amy Kalman explains how it works.
Right now, yes, I am really wanting a seizure.
Dow Hammond started having seizures when he was 12, and for the first time in his life, he wants to have one.
So we programmed it as the once you pick up the seizures.
That's because he can't stop them without help. And this is the device that could do it. The latest in technology that detects when a seizure is coming and stops it before it hits. The new procedure, still in research, called NeuroPace. Not yet proven to work 100%. It's a new option for candidates like Dow who don't respond to medication and could be at risk for surgery.
It is quite extraordinary. We have a small little computer chip that we can plant in the skull that will actually detect seizures successfully.
Doctors pinpoint where in the brain the seizures come from. Then they implant and wait for a seizure.
The potential is incredible. I mean, if it works as well as we hope it works, it could really revolutionize epilepsy surgery.
A little spot of the skull.
It's been 3 weeks for Dow, but he knows it might take 2 years before they know if it works.
I'd love to see what it's like to drive a car.
If it doesn't work for him, he shares hope with MCG researchers it will work for someone else.
It would be great if this device is able to come out and help many, many other people with epilepsy to take the seizures out of their life.
For NBC News, Amy Kalman.
If you'd like more information on this device and the clinical trials, you can go to our website, NBC4.com, and click on Health.
Police in Fairfax County say a fox that was shot and killed yesterday in Herndon has tested positive for rabies. They believe that fox is the one that bit 3 children in Herndon on Monday. The children are between the ages of 2 and 7, and they are undergoing rabies shots. The fox attack put a lot of people on guard. Police say now that the animal in question has been killed, people should feel safe walking in their neighborhood.
Coming up, the Homeland Security Department starts over on a controversial plan to run background checks on airline passengers.
And we'll introduce you to this week's Wednesday's Child, a 12-year-old hoping for his adoption wish to come true.
You're watching News 4 at 5.
A government project created to keep terrorists off airplanes is being reworked because critics raised concerns about privacy and other matters. The project is called Computer Assisted Passenger Pre-Screening System, or CAPS-2 for short. It's a computer system that would check passengers' backgrounds to make sure they're not terrorists. The original plan would have run a passenger's personal information against commercial and government databases. But that's being reworked because the critics were concerned it could violate privacy. Critics also questioned how a passenger could remedy being wrongly identified as a suspicious person.
We've got some live pictures now from Chopper 4 that illustrate how dangerous storms can be. This is a home in Vienna that was apparently struck by lightning. The fire at that home has been put out, and we don't believe anyone has been hurt in this, but these are live pictures from Chopper 4 where a home has been struck by lightning. And as our meteorologists are always telling you, if you're out in these storms, take cover and try to remain safe, because this is the kind of thing that can result. Of course, we'll get the latest information on this as soon as possible.
Okay. Each Wednesday, we bring you the story of a child looking for a permanent home. Tonight, Barbara Harrison reintroduces us to Gregory. He's 12 years old now, and he is still hoping that someone can make his wish for an adoption come true.
Hi, Gregory.
Hello.
I'm Barbara. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What
too.
happened to your arm?
Got bit by a dog.
Oh my goodness, does it hurt?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you look like you're in good shape otherwise.
Yes.
You like playing a little basketball, or at least looking a little basketball?
Gregory is a 10-year-old who says playing basketball is one of the things he wants to do when he grows up. Nicole Hawkins of the MCI Center welcomed us for a special tour. Gregory, who is currently in the foster care system, was a little nervous about all the special attention.
Gregory came onto the system in 1997 due to physical abuse and improper care from parents. He's been in the system for 6 years.
Gregory was all smiles when he got to shoot a few baskets on the court where the big guys play. But he said we shouldn't expect much because of his injury.
I can't shoot with this thing. I shoot with this thing.
Gregory is a really bright and happy young man. He's very athletic. He loves to play basketball and rollerblading and football, and very active in his neighborhood.
Being a basketball fan, Gregory got a real treat when he got to meet one of his favorite players.
Who is that?
That's Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. You recognized him. Is he taller than you thought?
Kwame told him to work hard at whatever he does and always remember to make those who love him proud.
Do you know what adoption means?
Yeah.
What?
When they keep you.
He'll make somebody a wonderful son, so we really hope somebody will call us for Gregory.
He says he knows that good parents love their children.
And what about kids?
They love them back.
That's the kind of family Gregory would wish for, if he believed in wishing.
Did you ever have a wish that came true?
No.
Never?
Maybe this time. Barbara Harrison, News 4 for Wednesday's Child.
If you have room in your home and your heart for Gregory or another child who's waiting, please call our special adoption hotline. That number is 1-882-ADOPT-ME, or you can log onto our homepage at NBC4.com.
Right now, let's check in to see what we're working on for News 4 at 6. Here's Jim Vance.
Susan, local and federal law enforcement officials have busted a local biker gang. We'll tell you about that also tonight.
Boy charged with bringing guns to school reaches an agreement in court today. I'm Jeff Napshin. Find out what happened coming up.
Those stories and more coming up at 6 o'clock, folks.
Thanks, Jim. Still to come, the Skins get ready for their second preseason game.
George is going to join us from Redskins Park. George?
Good afternoon, Wendy and Susan. Coming up, a veteran returns to the Redskins. He may be older than Sonny Jurgensen. We'll explain as News 4 at 5 continues.
There may be a Walmart in that skyline one day. The Walmart executives say they are negotiating for space in the Brentwood Shopping Center. They want to build a 100,000 square foot store at that Northeast Washington complex. The Walmart would go on a space originally planned for a Kmart. Developers scrapped that project when Kmart filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago. Supporters of the Walmart project say the chain would create jobs, generate tax revenue, and allow people to get things they need at a lower price. But critics say the chain doesn't pay its workers well and destroys small businesses. It's estimated nearly 10,000 people took part in the Eleanor Holmes Norton Job Fair today. They lined up at the new convention center in Northwest, hoping to impress some of the 70 potential employers inside.
Low-paying temp jobs, or little to nothing, so it's hard to find a job out, especially in the D.C. area.
You make a mistake, you pay your debt so-called to society, but then you still pay them. You know what I mean? You still pay, it seems to me. You just keep paying and paying and paying, you know? But I'm keep plugging. I'll be okay.
This is the 7th year that Congresswoman Norton has held this job fair. She says she especially hopes it made a difference for the African Americans there. Unemployment in the black community climbed from 10% in June to 11% in July. That's twice the national average.
Let's get the latest on the rush hour with those storms moving through. Ken Forsyth, has it wreaked havoc on the roads? Okay, well, we're not going to do traffic. We're going to do weather because of those storms moving through. Veronica, has it wreaked havoc on the roads?
Well, it has certainly in the Skyway, so much so that there were some ice crystals that got tossed about, and we even had some hail reported in the area, Chantilly, Annandale, Falls Church, and right over the district. This is the one storm that we're watching right now over southern Anne Arundel County. Right now, some strong, or I should say some heavy rain and strong winds over Tracy's Landing in the Sudley area, Galesville, and heading to the east, and another little pocket that's just down to the south there around areas of Alexandria. Here's a look at some of that rain in the Arlington area, now just over an inch, and over an inch also at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, Arlington, Virginia. Temperatures are in the 70s right now, and they're likely to drop just a few more degrees later on tonight to 70, bottoming out. There's more rain coming our way tomorrow, especially tomorrow late. 82 the high for tomorrow, then only 80 on Friday. Saturday also still cool with some more rain moving through. There'll be 2 waves of that heavy rain coming through Thursday night, Friday morning, and again Saturday late. Back to you.
Okay. All right, thanks, Veronica. Let's see if the rain washed out practice as the Skins try to make it 2 in a row. George?
It is amazing, Susan and Wendy, that there was a heavy rainstorm. A lot of lightning and thunder came through here, and then it cleared off beautifully, and a crowd of at least 3,500 plus have turned out for this, the final practice that fans can come to. After this practice today, no more open practice, no more open practice for the fans to come see. Redskins have signed Sonny Jurgensen, a guy that I think he was blocking for you, Ray Brown, who's 40, 41 years old, just a warhorse of an offensive lineman.
He really has big body, big wide body. He knows how to play the game, George. He played with San Francisco. He played in Detroit. He played with Gibbs here when Gibbs was here before. Knows how to play the game. That kind of makes me think, though, that they may be thinking not only of Kenyatta Jones at tackle, but Derek Dockery, who played 4 years at Texas at right tackle. So they're trying to fill that spot. The period of adjustment for the Washington Redskins in the offensive line starts today.
Let me explain this more clearly. John Jansen's gone. Kenyatta Jones, everybody thought, would become the right tackle. By bringing Ray Brown in, you might move Derek Dockery from the left side over to right tackle.
Gives them a possibility. They're looking for the best man that was out there. Ray Brown was.
As far as Kenyatta Jones, let me take you out to the practice field. Everybody assumed that this guy, Kenyatta Jones, was going to get a chance. Now, number 74 in red, I must tell you, is Darrell Wright. He's a defensive tackle. 74 in white is Kenyatta Jones. Anyway, Kenyatta, you're going to get to play a lot now.
It's football. It happens. We're a family, and we got to, get another guy out of the family and put him in a position to do what we need to do to win. I'm going to do what I can do to, help the team out, if it's tackle, guard, center, wherever they need me at. So, like I said, it's an opportunity for me to step in and do what I've done before, and I'm going to run with it.
Kenyatta Jones actually started the Super Bowl for New England a couple years ago. He started 11 games at right offensive tackle. So we're talking about him out there because Randy Thomas will be back this week. So we want to put our best 5 on the football field. So with Samuels, Dockery, Lenny, and Randy Thomas and Kenyatta Jones, that's a very, very good group right there, very physical group. So he's something we're mulling over tonight. As a staff, we're talking about what we have to do.
what they did was get Ray Brown.
You got Ray Brown, but Kenyatta Jones came to the Redskins to play guard because they had the bookends in Jansen and Samuels, and now he's going to be forced to go back to the position that he is comfortable in.
You know, Sonny, it's interesting. We talk about all these guys that people know, the rookies and whatnot, but there are also guys you say, where do they get the rest of the players? So we sent Nicole Zalumis out and said, look, who is number one? We don't even know who he is. This is a guy that there's no book on, and yet he shows up on a Redskins field.
Exactly. People are saying Damian Douglas. Who is that? Damian who? Damian Douglas, a wide receiver. He's one of 10 wide receivers right now vying for a spot. Came out here, wasn't even signed at the beginning of training camp. Showed the Redskins what he got. Let's go back to last week. Damian Douglas, nobody even knew the Redskins had a number one on their team until Damian Douglas caught a touchdown pass during last week's practice. Now the former Philadelphia Eagle and Kansas City Chief, who was hurt last season, is trying to make the most of his opportunity with the Redskins, but he's still getting used to Gibbs' offense. He had that touchdown, spiked it in the end zone, felt good?
Felt great. Last year when I got hurt, I knew that my career had a chance to be over, because it's rare that guys sit out for a year and get an opportunity to come back from college. So this is my chance to get back into what I love doing.
So you have this opportunity, you're just very difficult for him after Monday's performance.
Well, Gary Scott had a big game, you're right, but now we know who number one, Damian Douglas is. And Ray Brown signed. Susan and Wendy, that means that no matter how old you are, if you can play, Joe Gibbs will bring you on board.
That's
good to know.
That is excellent to know.
We may have to take him up on that.
Well, thank you for joining us, but the news doesn't stop here.
I'll be joining Jim Vance next for News 4 at 6.
You're watching NBC4 working for you. Live from the area's leading news station, this is News 4 at 6.
A thunderstorm roared through parts of our area this afternoon. Big winds, some lightning, lots of rain. But it could be that we ain't seen nothing yet. Good evening. I'm Jim Vance. Doreen is off tonight. Veronica Johnson is up in the Weather Center with word that if you're planning a picnic this weekend or an outdoor party, forget about it. Veronica?
Certainly Friday or Saturday, you might as well forget about it unless you just like being out in the rain and the water and the high water at that. Meanwhile, we've had some water of our own today, some heavy rains coming through. There still is a severe thunderstorm warning out for Prince George's County until 6:15. We watched this one because these storms kind of slow to exit the area heading out over the bay. And there's a few more storms, though not as strong as the ones earlier, that have developed just to the south and west now over the southern district and moving into Prince George's County around Upper Marlboro. And while we have all that going on, of course, Bonnie due to make a landfall sometime early tomorrow morning around the panhandle of Florida. As it does so, by late Thursday and by Friday morning, the remnants of Bonnie will be over our area. And Charlie's remnants, yes, there's another storm, you know it, and this one is a hurricane. Its remnants will be moving up late Thursday. The two of them together, we're talking rainfall totals, folks, in excess of 4 inches over this 3-4 day period. So rainfall through Saturday, pretty high. That means possible flooding. Wendy?
I'll get out your hip boots. Thanks, Veronica. Fairfax County Police have busted several members of area motorcycle gangs. These arrests were part of a 2-year undercover investigation. Julie Carey is live in Fairfax this evening with this story. Julie?
Well, at 6 o'clock this morning, Fairfax County Police and officers in 6 other jurisdictions fanned out and began serving arrest and search warrants on members of several motorcycle clubs. Investigators here refer to them as outlaw motorcycle gangs. Now, the search warrants and arrest warrants are still under seal, so we don't know the names yet of those arrested, but we do know that at least 11 search warrants were served and at least 7 people are under arrest. Those arrests took place in communities from Calvert County, Maryland, in Fairfax, Loudoun, and Spotsylvania counties, and then farther south in Colonial Heights and in Petersburg, Virginia. Police are now hoping that today's arrest will put an end to an effort to reestablish this type of gang in Northern Virginia. It was early 2002 when a Fairfax County detective was asked to go undercover and infiltrate the Red Devils Motorcycle Club in Northern Virginia. Fairfax County Police commanders say trouble from motorcycle gangs hadn't been seen here in years.
Primarily, we hear about the youth gangs, in the area and what a problem they are. Well, I'm here to tell you that other types of gang activities are also here.
The Red Devils led the detective to contact with the more established club sponsoring them, the Hells Angels Club in North Beach, Maryland in Calvert County. Soon after, the undercover officer also joined the Fates Assembly Motorcycle Club, also in Northern Virginia. That group is backed by the East Coast parent organization, the Hells Angels of New York City. Police say the clubs were focused on crime, not riding motorcycles.
And during that time, he identified a great number of criminal violations, criminal enterprise operations, narcotics, trafficking, firearms violations, and so forth.
The investigation is expected to bring more arrests, and police hope an end to this type of gang activity in Northern Virginia.
It is something that we detected that the Hells Angels was trying to establish a club, an organization within Virginia. It hadn't been done in recent years. We saw that coming through this investigation. We put a stop to it and disrupted it, and we plan on continuing to disrupt operations.
Again, when the arrest and search warrants are unsealed sometime in the next 12 to 24 hours, much more will be revealed about this investigation and the kind of criminal activity that was allegedly underway. We do know that the charges filed today range from firearms and narcotics charges, promotion of gang activity, and several probation violations. Reporting live from Fairfax County, I'm Julie Carey. Back to you.
Thank you, Julie. A guilty plea today in the shooting death of an 8-year-old girl who was killed while she was watching television in a relative's house. 8-year-old Chelsea Cromartie was killed in May when a bullet crashed through a window at her aunt's home, striking her in the head. Ricardo and Rashid Hall both pleaded guilty this morning to second-degree murder, and they each now face 5 to 40 years in prison. They'll be sentenced in November. Chelsea's family was not happy with today's plea, saying the men deserved a much harsher sentence.
There is some new information tonight about the suspect in the Maisha Lowe murder investigation. Joshua Ross may be linked to another murder. Ross was arrested and charged with the shooting death of Lowe last month. The 15-year-old girl was killed as she sat in a car on F Street in Northeast D.C. Chris Gordon joins us now from the D.C. Superior Courthouse with more on this story. Chris?
Jim, at a court hearing today, 20-year-old Joshua Ross was ordered to be held without bond and face trial for murder.
The mother of 15-year-old Maisha Lowe came to court to look at the man charged with killing her daughter. 20-year-old Joshua Ross is being held without bond for murder. Maisha Lowe was the unintended victim of the shooting.
She just got an opportunity to see the alleged person who totally destroyed her life, and she just wants some peace for right now.
15-year-old Maisha Lowe was sitting in the back of a parked car with 2 other women on July 24th, just before midnight. A car pulled up and someone started shooting. It appears the target of the attack was a boyfriend of one of the other girls.
We've also found out today that this young man may have been involved in another killing on July 14th. And another killing that was murdered.
The shooting happened here at the corner of Montello Avenue and Holbrook Terrace in Northeast Washington. It was July 14th. Gregory Gibbons was killed with a 9mm handgun during an apparent robbery. Rachel Ford works for the Corrections Department and says she's called police to report drug activity and violence in her neighborhood.
Because sometimes I can be in the house and I can hear a gun go boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then I'm always going to hit the floor because a bullet knows nobody. It can come right in my house.
D.C. Detective Tony Patterson says ballistics evidence links the gun used on July 14th in the Trinidad neighborhood with the gun that was used July 24th to kill Maisha Lowe.
Joshua Ross has been charged with first-degree murder while armed. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison. We're live at the D.C. Superior Court. Back to you in the studio.
Chris Gordon. Thanks, Chris.
Yet another person has gotten sick at the University of Maryland, and officials think the norovirus is to blame. That's the same flu-like illness that sometimes spreads on cruise ships. But health experts still don't know where the virus came from. This latest person with symptoms got sick at the Clarice Smith Performing Arts Center last night and that person was taking part in a music camp and had stayed in La Plata Hall. 100 high school students from Chicago got sick after staying in the same dorm over the weekend. Now, school officials are disinfecting every building that was visited by those students.
Finally, the district has selected a new school superintendent. Clifford Janey was formally introduced this afternoon. James Adams is at the school board headquarters now with more on this story. James?
Well, Jim, observers who met him for the first time used words like refreshing, energetic, and they say he just brings a new spirit and attitude to the D.C. school system. Some members of the collaborative say they were most impressed because he brought a matrix of data with him when he came to apply. He showed how students improved while he was superintendent of the Rochester schools. He brings solid credentials, but he's got a rough road ahead. Janey says the stars were aligned. His skills and abilities match the needs and desires of one of the nation's most troubled school systems.
Creating a bridge and a link between developing and accelerating student achievement and taking care of the business side of the house.
Janey last headed the Rochester, New York school system, leaving in a swirl of controversy over budget deficits. But he brings 29 years in education.
Well, I think that Dr. Janey, in having been a superintendent and having worked in the corporate world and having twice been the chair of the Council of Great City Schools and having participated in their assessments of school systems that are up for reform, he has shown tremendous intellectual depth, leadership, willingness to reform, willingness to move quickly.
The school board now moves into contract negotiations with Janey. Sources tell News 4 a salary in the range of $300,000 a year is a likely possibility. Mayor Williams this afternoon made a personal pledge.
And Mr. Superintendent, I pledged my full support, unequivocal and emphatic, for you and for the entire executive branch of this government. And I know that all of us do, and I know that you will respond as our city expects, and that is if you're running into difficulties, if you're running into trouble, you'll let all of us know, and I think our citizens will come running. But welcome to our city. We look forward to working with you, Doctor.
So the mayor says hands off unless I'm called upon. The tough job begins now, the actual contract negotiations. No word on when Clifford Janey will actually come on board here at D.C. school headquarters. Jim, back to you in the studio.
James Adams. Thanks, James.
The Dunbar armored car courier shot and killed last week during a robbery was laid to rest today, and the chairman of the Dunbar company that he worked for spoke at the funeral, expressing regret to Jason Schwindler's family for his death. Co-workers talked about the challenge of continuing a dangerous job as police search for the killers. Darcy Spencer reports.
Christine Schwindler is comforted in the darkest moment of her life, the funeral for her 28-year-old husband, Jason Schwindler. He was shot and killed in a robbery last Friday. Their little boy, Nathan, smiles. He's too young to understand that Daddy's not coming home.
Just very sad to have to be here today. It's just such a terrible loss, and it's senseless for this to happen. Have a little boy that's 1 year old, now his dad is gone. It's just horrible.
Schwindler was a Dunbar armored car money courier. Hooded robbers shot him during an early afternoon ambush outside a BB&T bank in Hyattsville. Numerous Dunbar workers attended the funeral. They continue their dangerous duties in the dawning reality that the killers remain at large.
It's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. We know they're there, and we know there's nothing we can do about it. We just carry on the best way we can. You know, we become more vigilant what's happening around us. And we'll just carry on that way as best we can. That's what Jay would want us to do. That's what he would do.
Schwindler was a Navy veteran. His flag-draped coffin carried into the Our Lady of the Fields Catholic Church. A Dunbar worker was among the pallbearers.
I always say a prayer every morning, take me home safe. I've had this medal. It's old, it's rusted, and I always say a prayer every morning that just bring me home safe. Let me just do my job and go home safe.
Schwindler was remembered as a once lonely sailor stationed in the coldness of Iceland who found warmth in the love of a woman he met over the internet. She would later become his wife. And now she must go on and raise their son without him. Darcy Spencer, News 4.
Still to come in our broadcast tonight, the case against Kobe Bryant has been put on hold.
Plus, find out why a veteran newsman is thrown in jail.
People in Florida bracing themselves for two powerful storms. We'll have a live report coming up.
And George, what's happening at the park?
Good evening, Wendy. Well, the Redskins signed an old veteran to help out. Did the Cleveland Browns cave in to Kellen Winslow and Sonny?
We'll talk to the quarterback who's trying to change the quarterback position.
Rotation. News 4 at 6. That's a big word, isn't it? It continues.
You're watching News 4 at 6.
Mike Wallace is a veteran journalist with the CBS News show 60 Minutes. Last night, he was arrested after clashing with city inspectors outside a restaurant in New York City. Wallace says when he walked out of the restaurant, he saw that the inspectors were talking to his limo driver. Apparently, the driver was double parked. The inspectors asked Wallace to step away, but they say he lunged at them. Then, according to some witnesses, the officers forced Wallace, who's 86 years old, by the way, on top of their car. They cuffed him and arrested him, took him off to jail on charges of disorderly conduct. The inspectors say Wallace was disrespectful. But a lot of people, including New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, say the inspectors overreacted. Wallace is due in court on the disorderly conduct charge in October.
There is yet another new twist in the Kobe Bryant sexual assault case. Prosecutors have asked the judge to delay the trial indefinitely. They say the accuser has been affected by developments in this case, and they say their case has been hurt by the release of testimony about her sexual activities. This motion was filed yesterday, the same day the alleged victim filed a civil lawsuit seeking monetary damages from Bryant.
More damaging testimony from Scott Peterson's former mistress today. Amber Frey testified about telephone calls she taped between her and Scott. Prosecutors say Peterson murdered his wife because he wanted to start a new life with Frey. Joe Rico has the latest now from Redwood City, California.
Court began Wednesday with Amber Frey still on the stand. Prosecutors introduced more taped phone conversations between Frey and Scott Peterson. This time, the conversation dealt with her issues of trust and New Year's resolutions.
There wasn't a lot of meat on any of this. And we have 9 more hours of tapes.
Yesterday in court, prosecutors played a phone conversation where Scott Peterson claimed he was in Paris looking at fireworks when in fact he was attending a candlelight vigil for his then missing wife, Lacey Peterson.
Everybody else is spending 16, 17, 18, 20 hours a day desperately looking for Lacey. And he's engaged in this phone conversation. It's unbelievable what it tells you about his character.
The defense is expected to attack Frey's credibility, painting her as a woman scorned.
And they're going to characterize her in the defense cross-examination as a scorned lover and a snitch. By the way, I don't think it will work.
Prosecutors hope Frey's testimony and the taped phone conversations help bolster their theory that Peterson was a chronic liar who was capable of murder.
Scott Peterson's defense has acknowledged all along that he did cheat on his wife and that he is an adulterer. But they argue painting him as a murderer is just too big a leap. From Redwood City, California, Joe Rico, News 4.
It's unusual, but there's a lot of activity up on Capitol Hill. Congressmen there, they're trying to figure out the best way to reform the intelligence community. We'll take a look inside that debate coming up.
Coming up next, we're going to have a live report from Florida where they are bracing for not one, but 2 big storms.
Veronica Johnson's going to join us in a couple of minutes to tell us how it's going to affect us.
You're watching News 4 at 6.
Tonight, residents across Florida are bracing for what could be a double whammy. Over the course of 2 days, 2 tropical storm systems are expected to come ashore. They are Tropical Storm Bonnie and Hurricane Charlie. Jay Gray joins us live from Tampa, where tonight with more. Jay?
Well, good evening, Wendy. And this is that time we always hear about the calm before the storm. We have patchwork clouds here in Tampa, a lot of sunshine, calm waters, really providing few clues that the entire Florida Gulf Coast is bracing for some heavy rains, high winds, and back-to-back storms. Rain is the real concern in the Florida Panhandle. Panama City was already soaked by intense thunderstorms, and now Bonnie is on the way.
Our main concern with this system is going to be the amount of rainfall that may come with it.
And this is only the first wave of a 2-fisted tropical punch expected to pound the Florida coast. Now a hurricane, Charlie is gathering strength and cutting a path toward the lower Florida Gulf Coast.
Annabelle, they're taking truckloads out there.
I just like to be prepared. So, and my husband never believes anything's ever going to happen, so he would never buy these things.
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes. Emergency management teams are working around the clock, and so are local crews. pulling boats to higher ground and securing whatever they can.
We take as many of them as we can, and then we have to stop.
Locals and tourists are split, some packing to outrun the storms, while others are planning to ride out the hurricane. And already there is a partial evacuation notice in effect for areas of the Florida Keys. Now, Bonnie, which we are hearing is gathering strength and could actually be a Category 1 hurricane before it makes land, is expected to make landfall early Thursday morning near Panama City. Charlie, not far behind, but is further to the south, expected to first affect the Keys about 24 hours later. That's early Friday morning. In Tampa, I'm Jay Gray. Now, Wendy, back to you.
Thanks, Gray. Jay Gray. Going to be a rough couple. I know it's going to be a rough couple of days down there. But of course, we want to know what it means for us.
Well, for us,
because we're so self-absorbed.
Right. Still a strong storm. It's going to channel all that energy and all that moisture right up the East Coast. So for a couple of days here, not just from Bonnie, but also from Charlie's moisture, we will get some heavy rain. I said earlier,
we're going to be floating.
Well, the ground is going to be very, very soggy. So do what you can in preparation for that. Meanwhile, earlier today had the hail. We even had the lightning. This Fairfax County near Vienna. Lightning struck house in the 9,000 block of Glendevi Court in Oakton, Virginia. 2-alarm fire, probably caused by a lightning strike. And we also had heavy rain that came through the area. And as I said, some hail, even some penny-sized hail throughout the area. The heavy rain, yes, we do have video of that as well. There's hail with it, gully washer type rain. It came down hard. Those are the leaves, and a green leaf at that, so probably just pulled off the tree from the intense downpours here, folks. Just scrambling to get by. This just about an hour and a half ago. But hail was reported in the District, Falls Church, Annandale, and even Chantilly. Meanwhile, that storm has pulled off to the east. Had a rainbow earlier. There you can see it on the far left-hand portion of your screen as we pan out a little bit more. And we're not going to have clear skies tonight, but we are likely to see some parting of the sky. So I do think that we'll see some partly cloudy conditions. Started the day at 70, and as a matter of fact, we dipped down to 70 degrees when the storms blew through as well. 86, that was the high today, closer to the average. The June rainfall now over 4, or I should say since the beginning of June, our rainfall is 4 inches above normal. Here's what's left on today's rain. It's over Prince George's County, just east of us, Upper Marlboro and areas around Anne Arundel County. Heading out of the area, just a little bit of lightning left now, just down around I-301. Meanwhile, another little area that's been moving up from the south, this one hitting the northern neck, areas around Montrose and on down to the south and west. But as I open it up, we're clear behind all of that, so once this moves out of here, that should be about it. That severe thunderstorm watch that was out until 8, likely to be dropped, I think, very shortly now. In terms of rainfall amounts and in terms of winds with this system, our winds went as high as 65 miles per hour. This one clocked at Nova Annandale campus in Annandale, Virginia. Winds again pulling out of the south now and much lighter. 42-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported there in Anne Arundel County with rainfall upwards an inch and a quarter there, and you can see how heavy it was raining, nearly at a rate of 8 inches per hour. That's the kind of rain we're going to have coming up over the next couple of days. The rain that comes down hard, the rain that comes down fast, and the rain that comes with some high winds because it's coming down so fast. Here's our weather front, the one that caused today's storms. It's moving to the east. Skies, though, with still a lot of moisture in the air, again, never going mostly clear. Our attention, though, is down to the south with Tropical Storm Bonnie that's moving northeast now at 12 miles per hour. That puts it right up over the panhandle of Florida sometime early tomorrow morning. And then it continues tracking on further to the north. Late Thursday, it's over areas around Georgia. So Atlanta, Macon getting some heavy rain. Same thing, too, around areas of South Carolina eventually as it moves up. And now, Charlie, it's a hurricane because the winds are up over 74 miles per hour. This one taking a track just south of Jamaica, producing some high winds and some rain. And by Sunday, it makes its moisture, makes its move right up into the mid-Atlantic. Let's go ahead and quickly get through the futurecast. I wanted to show you those rainfall totals again from the district east to Ocean City, Rehoboth, and from areas around Lynchburg on east to Newport News, over 4 inches of rain. This is a lot of rain. Again, do that preparation early. Clean out your gutters. Do what you can around the base of your house. Tonight should be quiet then. Muggy and humid, 70 the temperature, 82 tomorrow. I think it'll be quiet in the morning with most of the rain moving in during the afternoon and evening, and especially tomorrow night into Friday morning. We'll have some heavy rain, and then another wet wave of heavy rain Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. Right now, I do think that we could salvage some of Sunday for the weekend.
Let's hope so. Thanks
Veronica.
Winter seems far away on a day like this, doesn't it? But the Energy Department is already warning that home heating costs are going to cost you a lot more this year. The government says most U.S. households will see their heating bills jump 10 to 20%. The biggest increases will be for people who use natural gas. But the cost of heating oil, electric heat, and propane also have gone up. Experts say the increases are due to tight supplies and uncertainty in the Middle East.
Still ahead on News 4 at 6, a wild scene on the streets of D.C. as suspects in a stolen bus are chased by police.
Family and friends have come together to say goodbye to a fallen armored car guard.
And what should the role of a national intelligence czar actually be? We'll take you inside the debate. It's going on Capitol Hill next.